Hello all, welcome back to Consciousness Rising. I want to do one, this is a psychological health tip, but I really want to talk about word spells. And I want to talk about self-hexing. Many of us, to some degree, have some level of self-hexing. And it comes from our beliefs about ourselves, which knock our self-esteem, because our beliefs ultimately become who we are. Now, I'll give you a prime example of how this was used in a nefarious black magic way during the whole scandemic thing. Those 3 years or whatever it was, if you turned on the news, which, I don't do, but it was hard to escape because it was on in everyone else's bloody house, you are being programmed constantly all these talismanic terms that they were using, like new normal. When when you actually think about that, there was nothing normal about it at all. What they were trying to do was to get into your subconscious using the power of repetition and wordplay, by constantly pushing out these weird terms. There was nothing normal about it, but they wanted us to accept it. In our subconscious conditioning, they wanted us on a mass scale to accept this new crap. There was nothing normal about it at all, and I could see that straight away what they were trying to do. And this is what they do in the media. They use word spells all the time. What they're trying to do through repetition. Now, see, this is all goes back to my second video when I was talking about subconscious programming. The subconscious learns one of the ways it learns is through repetition. Of course, what they did as well is they used symbols and gestures and colours and things like that, because then what they're doing is they're trying to get behind the conscious mind, because as you know, if you've been watching my work, the subconscious is much more powerful. It's 95% of our daily activity comes from the subconscious mind. So if they can get in there, they've got you chained in your mind. You become your own prisoner, though. And this is why you have to be so fucking careful with all this shit. But then not only that, when people come to therapy with me, as I've said before, therapy if done correctly, is a deconstructive process where you're basically trying to get the person or help the person deconstruct themselves again. Find out who they were before all the conditioning comes in. Now, that conditioning comes in, like I say, through the news, but it also comes in through parents, teachers, this, that, and the other. But a lot of them are self-hexes. How much attention and energy do we give to self-hexes about ourselves when you look in the mirror? And, a lot of it, especially with young women and teenagers back in the day, there was all this zero size is the only beauty. How damaging is that to people? We're all different shapes and sizes. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's just, we have to be very careful about what we take in as a belief system. Even the other day, in fact, last year I think it was, and then the other day it happened again. Even things like posters around and banners, especially a lot of these health ones, you'll get things like, I don't know, I saw one the other day, what was it, I can't remember the exact term, but 1 in so many men will develop prostate cancer. That's a spell. They don't know. How do they know that for sure? Think of the way they're delivering that as well, because a lot of magic revolves in using the correct terminology as if something's already happened. If you start to do that, you can change, and that's how you manifest. You actually act as if you already have it. You cannot go out the door wanting to be more wealthy, acting like a poor person. That the universe will never, ever send you that. You will never attract it. And we are co-creators with this existence, as I've said many times. So, if you go around absorbing all these things, 1 in so many men will get prostate cancer, 1 in so many women will get blah blah blah, there's this cancer, there's that cancer. Think about it, it's all negative. When do you ever see a positive one? It's all wordplay. And it's really dangerous. And we have to be really, really careful not to self-hex us and take these beliefs on and self-hex ourselves. Ultimately, natural law always wins, as I've always said. The universe will give you what you want. It really will. But it's done through the way you're programmed and what programs you are sending out to the universe. Like a receiver, it will come back into you. That's how it works. And magic, the reason magic is so important is because it's about, it's a hidden psychology, really. It's how to change the self and manifest your own destiny. Every single day you get up, you are the arbiter of your own creation. A self is not something one finds, as Thomas Sar said. It's something one creates. And that quote is one of my favourite quotes of all time. I think about it often. But we have to be careful we're not creating someone else's ideal of ourselves. We have to throw that shit out, deconstruct it, and eliminate it from our own subconscious. Use EFT if it's there really, really deeply. We can change any moment that we want. All it takes is willpower and awareness. You have to know the way the game works. But self-hexing is really dangerous. Sit down. A really good exercise is to sit down and think about limiting beliefs that you give yourself. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm broken. I can't be fixed. I can't be helped. All these things are self-hexes. Now, I'm not saying that they're you may not have self-hexed yourself deliberately, but it's slipped in. It may have slipped in through trauma. It may have slipped in through your parenting. It may have slipped in many, many, many different ways. But you have to question this shit and think, how is that actually serving me? How is it serving me to go around thinking that I'm broken every day? I'll manifest that and I'll be broken. I don't want that. None of us want that. I believe everyone can be the purest, greatest, expression of consciousness, which is what we are. We're all individual consciousnesses having our own unique experience here. And the other thing, I was talking on a thread the other day on Facebook about this AI shit and the world's not real and all this shit. That's so dangerous, all that fucking artificial intelligence crap. We are co-creators with this universe. We are extremely powerful. This all comes from Gnosticism. It all comes from Gnosticism. And that same crap belief about the reincarnation trap, which I actually brought up in this thing. A lot of truthers and New Age spiritual idiots that have no clue about the reality of the fucking universe at all will say that, reincarnation is a soul trap. What a load of fucking bollocks that is. What a load of shit. They'd rather just, float around in space and commit quantum suicide. Absolute shit. Like, pagans laughed at Gnostics. Gnosticism is just so dangerous. And it's creeping in now through these fucking the world is an illusion shit. On one level it is, it's Maya. But it's not illusory, Well, the point I'm going to make is, right, on a collective, we have our individual, as I've just spoke about, self-hexing that we do, but we're self-hexed on a massive scale as well when it comes to the collective unconscious. Now, if enough people believe something, we'll manifest it on the fucking planet. That's how it works. We are not prisoners at all. We prison ourselves. And this self-hexing has to stop. It really does. We're so much more powerful. We are extremely powerful beings, basically, that have been conditioned to believe that we're not. That's basically what's happened. So, I just have to get this off my chest because it's something that's cropped up again. I mean, it crops up in therapy all the time, but the beautiful thing about therapy is people do change. Yeah, self-hexing. Sit down and think about all the ways in which you've self-hexed yourself, all the limiting beliefs you have, all the shit that's come from other people that isn't actually serving you at all or helping you towards your own life goals. And then change it. All right? See you in the next one, guys.